Hello and welcome to my channel. It's Kristy here. Today I'm finishing off the lovely green pouch that I'm doing for May, even though we're in June, for Kate in the Nest. And this should be the last video that I'm doing because I'm just about finished. So I finished the little needle book the other day. I just attached a love heart because it's all about hearts. There's a love heart on the front, and you should just be able to pull that off. And then there's the little needle book all ready to go with some green pins in it already. It's not elastic, but I like the rick-rack. Okay, so this we are finished. I've got my zippers ready to go. I don't know which one to do, and I finished the embellishing of the I might finish that off later, but right now I just want to get and do the zipper. So I have two zippers. This one is a self zipper, and this one is, I just bought it from Spotlight because that's the store we have here in Australia, or other craft shops. You can do that too, but this one was white and I painted it green. Now it's gone a bit stiff, so it'll either work or it won't work. So let's try and put the zipper in. So what I have got is this little handy zipper tool to put the zipper in. You don't need to have this, but I bought it because I was using it for making bags and stuff. So you put the zipper in this way. Sometimes it's a bit temperamental. So this is a cut zipper, and this comes on long length, so you just cut it to the length you want. So you take the zipper apart. Doesn't matter which side, left or right, it's as long as it works the same. And you turn them upside down like this. Now if you've seen this, no problems, but anybody that's new wouldn't know. And then you've put them in the zipper down into the, sometimes you just gotta, might chop up, not chop, turn it up this way. Sometimes it's a bit fiddly. It does work, I promise. Just get rid of the ends. Then you put that in there. See, that one's gone in there, but the other one's still a bit stuck. What's wrong with that? It doesn't want to go in there. That's what it is. It's got that little lip there, and so it wasn't going in. Like, you've got to put it over the edge. You've got to anchor it in. Sometimes it doesn't look like that it's working, but I promise you it does do it. There. And let's see if this will work the way I'm doing it. What it is it's not anchoring down into the thing. Right, let's turn it over, slip that in there and pull it down. There we go. And there, oh, silly me. There we have it, all back together, but now I didn't stop at the end, did I? There we go. And then stop, pull it out, and there we have our zipper. No problems at all. And what I want to do is put an end on the end of the zipper. So it's going to be an open pouch. These ones work exactly the same, except this is an open end zipper. This has a stopper here, so you can't go off the edge, and it doesn't have any tape there, any zipper teeth. I really want to use this one because I like the gold, and I painted it, but it's just a bit stiff, so I don't know how it's going to work in the actual pouch. So let's do this. We'll open it up, and what I might do is get some thread Doesn't have to be green, I suppose. We're just going to get some thread and sew off the end of the zipper. I'll just make it, I just want to double the thread over. So how are we all today? Or maybe not today, maybe you're in the night time watching this. So I hope you're having a wonderful time. And so I'm just going to do some stitches over the end. I'll do 4. One more just to make sure. So now the zipper can't come off. All right, so I want about that much opening. Basically, I want it like this one here. This is just going to be a tiny little bit wider. So let me see, I'll put it here and I will have pouch there, and that will be the opening. So that means it goes like that without being restricted at the end there. So that's about right. And what we need to do is open up that, and you can chop off this end. I just wanted to get this end, and we're going to pin this on. Can't remember who asked for the zipper. I'm sorry, I apologise. I just got straight onto here to get it done and I didn't look back in my notes for my other video. So I apologise for that. These are not the best scissors to use. So I'm going to hand stitch this one in case you wanted to hand stitch a zipper. Oh, look, that two's a little bit up, so I need to cut that because that will interfere in the zipper. I don't want anything that's a bit long to interfere with the zipper. So yes, I'm going to hand stitch this one and show you what to do. If you already know how to do it by machine, that's no problem. It'd be exactly the same thing, but with machine, I just don't have time to unpick it and switch it out again. All right, so what was I using? Oh, that's a big long one. Obviously I was using that for something. I was using, now it's whether to use this to make it nice and strong or whether just to use this doubled over. I think I'll use this doubled over because I don't want it thick. Beautiful sunny day today. Really, really nice. Like, it's lovely and sunny. It's only 20 degrees, or 19 at the moment, and lovely and sunny in Perth. That knot didn't work, So I had to do it again. Right. Just let me think for a minute. Oh, we had an end put on that. Oh no, here. That's right, we've got to move away the zipper about 1/2 inch from the end, and we've got to I can't remember how to do that now. Oh, I've got to put in the lining, haven't I? Oh, the lining will come after. So let me have a look. Just let me see what I'm doing. That will do there. I'll just do a couple of stitches. I just got to figure out something. Right. And then we'll fold that up there like that, and then we will put our lining in. I've got to hand stitch that down. Yep, I needed to go through the process because all of a sudden I'd forgotten what to do. And then that will be, yep, that's fine. Okay, so you leave about 1 inch from the end. Oh, what's happening here? I'm all tied up. 1 inch from the end. So that gets left open because you've got to go right sides together with the zipper. And then I might get my pen, my watercolour. That's fine, I can see that. And my ruler. I thought about this the other night actually. And draw, I just drawed on myself. Just draw a quarter of an inch from the zipper. So there's my line there, and so I put that on top of the zipper, and this is going to be my sewing line. So this will help sew my line down. And when I painted the zipper, it was a little bit, I had to redo it again because it wasn't dark enough for me. And I used a lot lighter, and I mixed 2 colours together. It is stiff, but I think it will work as long as you don't get it wet. Obviously, if it does get wet, it'll run a little bit. But I have washed it a few times to stop it running. Right, where are we? Oh, typical. Get everything mixed up together. Right. So I'm going to go back down. You know, I'm going to snip that off, it's confusing me. Slowly, so I don't get the thread all knotted up like that. I probably should put it through that wax stuff. Right, I know it's too long. So let's get onto our line and do a couple of anchor stitches without the pin. So just remember, this is all by hand now. So if you wanted to add a zipper to your pouch, this would be about what you could do. It is exactly the same as a machine, except you're just hand stitching it and making sure that it's pretty anchored down with your stitches. I'm having not a very good time with the zipper at the moment, am I? All right, so off we go. So I'm just going to go down and come up. I think this is just called a back stitch, but I'm just doing it my way that I know, and I'm going to go back down and I'm going to come up here. I'm just doing it any old how, as long as I get it there sorted. You know, I'm just going to get rid of that because I know I can't because I sewed it, didn't I? That's all right. And go back down here. The line will guide you to keep straight. This is going to annoy me. Go down. I'm not going to do this all on camera. Come up here. Go down there. And come up to the next one, because I basically want the stitches to be exactly the same as a machine stitch. I want a stitch all the way along, not just a gap in between. Oops, I didn't do that gap, did I? So let's turn it over. So hopefully now we will see. If I'm too close, I'm going to stop here and finish off the row, because now I can see that the zipper goes past without any problems, and I'll be back. So here we are with the zipper stitched on. Hand stitched, just using back stitch, however you want to do your back stitch is just fine. So that's pretty strong. And so I've just done the zipper up, and I can still do the zipper all the way undone. Not towards the edge, because that will come undone. So what I need to do now is think about hand stitching the top down before the lining goes in, which is this bit along here to attach it to the zipper. So I was thinking that this is a bit thick. I'm going to come in here with my scissors carefully and see if I can chop some of the blanket off, because it's a very thick. But then saying that, I might not be able to. I did sew that down, so if I just cut that off there, that's allowing me to come in and possibly just get rid of some of the blanket. Maybe I'll do it with these scissors instead. You don't want too much. But I think it allows you to have a bit of less bulkiness to the thing. Like I said, you've got to still be careful. I don't want to cut the zipper. And I'm leaving the fabric down as well. Oh, I have to crack my knuckle because it's a bit tight. If you tend to pull on the fabric or the wool, it will pull away. And so I'm just going to cut that there. That won't matter. That's the thing without the zipper, so I'll just do the tiniest little bit, but not all the way. Oh, excuse me. Right, let's try this side. You won't see me on camera for a bit, just while I cut away. Whoops, I accidentally put a hole in the fabric. It's all right. It won't be too long. And when you sew it down, I might just pull that away. Come back round this way. Just chopping it this way is better. When you fold it down, it will also be reinforced with the stitching. And I'm going to use I think that's too dark. Don't know about that colour. Let me see what other greens I have. I don't want to use my crew wool, and I think I'm going to use, do you know what? I think I might use this. Yep, I will use this here. That is from Jennifer Clouston, her pack of thing. Now you only need a little bit, and you don't get yours in a knot like I have just done. So you need an inch or so that side and an inch or so this side, times 2. So there we go. That's done. Now, like everything, you've got to find the right needle. Now, I might use this one here. I think this is a crew needle. I prefer to sew mine, obviously, on the sewing machine, but I'm showing you how you can actually do it by hand. I'm going to sew the sides and the bottom on my machine, and but you can do that by hand as well. So what you need to do now is make sure you fold that down flat. And then what you need to do is come up on the side, but poking through that. This is where the machine works well, because it knows where to sew, whereas I'm only guessing. I suppose I could do it from the other side. Have a look here. I will open it up. And don't forget, I can open this up. Now, if I lay that flat down, that's got to lay flat down as well. So maybe I should put some pins in, and that might help, but it's very, very bulky. Pins don't really see, it's going to bulk up. I won't worry about it. I'll just make sure I lay that flat down, and I might be able to use this as my follow line above the line that I've just done, and that should hold that in place. So let's give that a go again. I like to wrap my yarn or cotton around the sides, even though it's going to be sewn. Might need my tweezers. Where are they? I've only just bought these ones. Hopefully won't need them all the time. Right, pull that tight. And so we're going to do my best and of course it comes out, doesn't it? You've just got to be a little bit, if you want to be accurate, then I suggest you just carefully do it slowly. And pull that a little bit tight. So now that's sitting down there like that. You can tell straight away that it's sitting down. You could, if you wanted to, just nick that as the wool goes along, but you won't, it'll only just stay up like that. It won't flatten down and help the zipper slide along like that. Obviously this is going to take some time, so I'll just go along a little bit longer and show you. Am I doing one every... So I've got those lines, I've got these bars. I might... See, the bars aren't there in that one. Ow, 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 ow. That's... so I was a little bit low there. See, I can see that I'm a little bit low in my stitching, so I'll just come out. Ow, that hurt my thumb. And come up there, have a bit of space in between them. Make sure you pull tight enough so it's tight, and try and lay that flat and then push down through it. This is where the sewing machine, what did I do for mine? I think I just used wool and did that when I did the, yeah, so maybe that's what we'll do. We'll worry about that edge. That's what we can do. Because I just sewed that with the wool through there to hold that down. But I did make it a lot bigger. Let's have a look and see. I know I'm changing my mind, but yeah, I can do that. I can do that. I'm going to leave that there. But that is the idea you can do. If you want to, but that's done probably double handling, so by the time I put my lining in, I'm then going back over there again. So I'm just going to cut the end off that. And this is what happens. Sometimes you're not quite sure how things work because I'm not pre-doing anything. Obviously a few things, but you know what I'm like. I like to do it as I'm going. Now the dogs might bark because the man across the road's come, and the dogs think that it's my son Michael. That's not going to work because I've done it quite tight. So I'll just put that away for now, and let's think about the lining. Now the lining is going to be this here. So I will do my very best to utilise as much less for fabric as I can. So I'm going to come up there a little bit. I don't mind that there. That there. So I'm going to cut here. And measure across there to there. Just add a little tiniest little bit more, because you can cut it off, but you can't add it once you've cut it too short. Now I'm hoping this will, I think I'm just going to use my scissors and use the line of the thing. I've got all my stuff in there. Right, where is my cutting line? There. Actually, I'm going to cut down here first. So the squares are becoming my cutting line. So there, use my finger. Oh, is that right line? Yep. Oh, your eyes get a bit funny. I could have drawn the line with a ruler. My cut line is there. Follow that along to there. Now I have to do this times 2. Oh no, it's a bit further down. Oh no, there we are. Right. So that one's gone. Don't know where this came from. Oh no, I bought it at my guild, my quilting guild. That's right. So I've just got to make another pattern the same as this. Now I want to see if I'm... Yep. Okay, that's fine. I just had to make sure I was in the right... The fabric was the right way. So let me cut that. If you're not sure about your fabric and you want to move it and it doesn't want to move, just lick your fingers and it helps move the fabric along. Right, that's my first piece. I should have cut this beforehand, but I didn't. I love the sound of scissors being cut. Perfect. Right. They probably need an iron, but that's okay for now. So what you're going to do is right sides together. I have to actually look at my other one. I put a little tag on that one. I can do that too. I'm going to get a little tag and put on the edge of that before I sew it in. That's what I did. I sewed up my lining before I sewed up this, and then I just folded that down. All right, so I will do that. So you can hand stitch your lining if you want to, but I'm definitely not going to. All you need to do is put your piece together. Leave the top open, sew down the sides, sew down here, but leave that much of a gap, because when you sew that on to there, you need to turn it inside out, I think. Can you like get off there? My dog is sitting on the stuff on the floor. I need to have a look. Isn't it funny how I can't remember how to do that? And I only did it the other week. It's probably because I'm on camera. And when you're on camera, it does different things to your brain. Okay. So sew up the bottom, sew down the sides, leave a gap at the bottom. And then when you come to put it together, I will show you that. I'll be back with that part. Okay, so I'm back. I've sewn it together. It took a bit of time because my brain was just a bit, I don't know, confused. I realised I haven't sewn this down, so I've got to get in here and just stitch that together. Could be a little pocket, couldn't it? Could put little treasures in there. So I did a box bottom. So what that means is, let me find a little bit of fabric. Have I got some? You think I'd have scrap fabric somewhere? Here, this will do. So that means that you've got your pouch and you've sewn it all up, and you draw a square. Just a minute, let me see if I can. Hang on. Yep, so you've drawn a square. I did 2 inches, and I did 2 inches here. And so you cut that like that. This is before you sew up the sides. Or you sew up the sides before you sew up the sides. Now, the dimension's a bit strange. I should have shortened it because it only needs to be tiny. But for my big pouch, which is 34 centimetres, I did 2 inches. And then for the people that already know this, that's fine. And so then what you do is, I'm going to use some pins. So I pretended to sew that up there. I should have come and showed you, but I was busy getting it together. Sewed that up there. I mean, no, I beg your pardon. Sewed that up there. So you cut your square out, then you sew up there. And this is supposed to be, and you leave a little gap open so you can get your hand in. And you double stitch and double stitch here so your stitching doesn't come undone. And then what you do is you then come along. Oh. So annoying, those dogs, honestly. And then you have it out like that, and you pull that out, and you sew along here, and then I'll pin it. You sew along there on a 1/4 inch seam, that side, and where are we? That side. No, go away. I'm talking. And then you use your sewing machine or your hand stitch. You can still hand stitch this. Make sure you do a good hand stitch. And then turn that in the right way. I know this is definitely not what I wanted to show you. So you turn that, so it's like that. You turn that in the right way. And pretend that's all sewn down. The box bottom's not going to work because the pins come out. Let me do this pin here. And you fold that out there, and that becomes, that would be definitely wider if I had a wider piece of fabric, but you can see that makes a corner there, and that goes up there, and that becomes like a box that you can sit down. So you can see that there's my bit there, and that becomes that there, and so it's like a box. So basically you're cutting out the corner piece to make a square. You're cutting out the corner piece, then you're diagonally sewing it, and then that becomes your box of your bottom of your bag, so it can sit down flat like that. That's the best I can do at the moment. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, just look on YouTube for box bottom pouches, and there'll be other people to show you. So I have sewn it in. I've sewn my zipper. Oops, well, I've got to do a little sewing square. What it is I might do that actually. You sew a piece of fabric so it stabilizes the zipper like that, and then you just, obviously that's not all there, and then that becomes your little holding thing. And what I might do is turn that into, I might make that into the edge of the zipper so it covers the edge up, and then you sew that along, providing that gets stuck in there, because that at the moment isn't, because this is sticking up here. I haven't sewn that to the lining. When the lining goes down, it'll lay down flat, and then also I have to sew that down, and that will help the corner stay in. And you shut it up, and there we are with the little thing on the side, so you can open up your zipper that way. I'm glad I've sewn that on the edge, because that would have flown off and it'd be hard to put it back on again. And then you hold onto that, and then you can open up your zipper like that. Hope it's not too far down. If not, the person that's looking at it, or whatever, you know, if I'm showing the person that's looking at my bag, they'll be able to say whether they like the size of that or not. I don't know, but I like that bit down there. So for some people it might be okay, for others it's not. But for the person that's looking at my bag, if I want to show them, hopefully that'll be all right. They might not know anything about that. Here I'm just waffling on like an old chook. So that is my bag. I've just got to fix that up there because it's not stitched. And my lining of my bag, I turn that inside out. So there's my box bottom. So there it is there. I should have just shown you that. You got your gap in there to turn the bag inside out, but I think I don't need to, because I'm not turning my bag in the right way. All I'm doing is sitting this in the bag like this, but there is something I actually think I want to do. Hang on, I've got to turn it around the right way. So when you put your lining in, wrong side to wrong side, that's what you need to do if you're doing it this particular way. But if it's the other way where you do it, it's right side to right side. Usually you put your right side of your lining in, and then you fold it in on itself, because you have it over the top here, and that folds down like that and turns it over. But I'm doing it the other way. What was I doing? Turning my right side, that's right, turning that way. So what I'm going to do now is get my two pieces together. I'm going to stitch that down like that, or I might come along and actually just put a couple of stitches in there, because that's that bit there. So I'll stitch those two together, use my pliers and my needle, and I'll poke right through the edge, and I will carry that on. Just let me get some pins. They're knocking at the door and I'm not opening it up. So there we go, that's better. And then just lift that up there like that. Turn that in this way. And then carry the lining on the bag like that. So that's going up that way. and then that will get stuck down like that. And then your lining's there, and there's the inside of your bag all ready to go. And I've just realised I wanted to put something else inside the lining of the bag. So I will do that, and then I will come back and show you when it's finished. But I do have to go now. Hello, and I'm back again with the last part of the bag. It's been a few days. I've been busy with my daughter's house, and I want to say that she has sold the house that she was with her ex-boyfriend, and so that's hopefully underway, and that not drama, but chaos and nightmare can go to bed and never be spoken of again. So let's, if you're hearing this and you would like to say a little prayer of some sort, just pray that it goes through, the sale goes through, and I can have my daughter back, because she has been struggling with two mortgages, not just one, her own plus the mortgage for the house that she built with her ex-boyfriend. All right, let's just end that story. And this is, and I haven't asked how you are, because I just wanted to let you know why I hadn't been on for a little while. I've just been busy trying to get this finished. So this is nearly finished, bar one tiny little bit of thing. A part of the bag. I did the box corners, and they came out really well. Then I forgot to sew that down, so I've just sewed that down before. What have I added on this? You possibly haven't seen this. Oh, you might have done on the other video, but I had to put some hot glue gun because these were coming off. So that's stuck on now. If I don't like it, then I can just take that off later. Oh, that's right. I've got to do that as well, haven't I? And under there. So I've got some thread here. No, actually, I might just do it with this thread here and fix this up. I haven't closed the bottom. So here is the zipper. So this is maybe the front of the pouch, I think. Might use, say this is the front of the pouch. And the zipper worked well. So there we go. I've just put a little bit of extra wool closure at the end. So you just fold that over. You stitch that down first with a few stitches so the zipper doesn't come off. And you just put a piece of fabric, or I did wool blanket, and I just hand stitched that around. I just did an overcast stitch so it stops the zipper from coming off, and it looks nice and you can hold on to it. So this, the way I've done the zipper, the opening of this zipper here, is I haven't gone all the way to the end, and what that does, it allows the zipper, the bag, to open up with a lot of space. Now it took me ages and ages. If I'd done it all together as on the machine, I had to hand stitch this in. So you just pop it in the right way, and I hand stitched this all the way around. And what I did was I drew a line, so I've got to get the iron and just gently iron that off. And so I knew where to keep the lining of the bag. And then I got my big pliers. I have pliers somewhere, I'm not sure if they're in my bag, but I had to put the pliers with the big needle and pull pliers all the way through. So, because what you need to do is you need to fasten the zipper edging, this here, down, otherwise it just sticks out and it doesn't look very nice. Now it's a little bit crinkly, I think, because maybe there's a little bit too much fabric in there. But my other one, my pink one, was exactly the same thing. So maybe because it's bulky, I don't know. I'm not super worried. Then I quickly, while I was doing that, I realized I wanted to put a little handle thing on there. So I just undid that, and then I sewed that back up. And I did do this on the machine. I didn't want to hand stitch this, but you can certainly hand stitch it, and make sure I'm talking too fast because I'm too excited. Make sure you hand stitch it well with lots of back stitching. If you don't want to do that, excuse me, you can just have the edging sticking outwards and just do some blanket stitch over the edge like that. And so you can have frayed edging of your bag, which will look just as great as if it was sewn. Not sure how you would go about doing a box corner for that. It could work. I actually haven't done that before. So have I? Not sure. Can't remember. So everything is looking super well. And I love all the bits and pieces. The beautiful Christine from Create and Craft Christine. Her Rick Rack has gone on this lovely bag. So I was able to use some of that. And what else? I put those on Dingle Dangles. I told you I lost that and then I found it. So what was, oh, and on the inside I made, this was from Sally, gifted me this. I can pull it out because I haven't stuck the pages together, the lining together. Sally gave me this and it was a beautiful green. Sorry, I'm exhausted, I think, from the weekend. And what I did was I just got some calico and I redid a shape of the calico of the hexagons. And then I think I need to take that off. I still can't remember if I need to take the stitching out here or there. I'm not sure. I can't remember. I think that's actually the stitching of the calico. Let me have a look. Yes, see, there's the stitching of the calico. So I better not play with that. So I lined it with stitched calico. So when you put your hand in the pocket, it's all nice and flat. And then I just turned over half of the hexagons to make a top edge. And then I hand sewed that in. But don't forget when you do the lining to leave a hole. So if you need to put something in after you've done your lining, you can still go ahead and do that. And I think that's what happened with this one. I didn't put the pocket on before I did the lining. It was after I did the lining, so I still was able to do that. And then I also got my hand straight into the pocket and I fixed up this here and then pulled it through like this to, you know, cut the thread off, which is somewhere in there. So I need to finish that off. And what was the other thing I was just about to do with this? I had this for a reason and now I've gone blank. What was I going to do with that? Oh, that's right, I was going to do this up here. So this has come off a little bit there and there. So obviously my stitching for the Rick Rack hasn't worked that well. So I might have to just go in and reattach some more stitches across there. But I'm just going to fold that over like that. Sometimes these things happen on your bag, so don't fret over it. It tends to make you a little bit more creative and realize that, you know, things don't always go to plan. What can we do to fix it? And I think that, and I'm happy with that. It's a very important part of your brain. So that's come off there because I need to attach that back down again. It's a very important part of your brain to know what to do when things are broken. Now I'm much stuck on there. I'm going to have a hard time trying to stitch that down, aren't I? And that's coming off there as well. I think also because this is not thick enough. So let's just tackle one thing at a time. I'm just going to do an overcast stitch. Hopefully it will stay there. And don't get too caught up in your stitches. nothing's got to be perfect when you're doing slow stitching. Well, some things have got to fit perfectly, like the zipper. You've got to make sure that fits well. But when it comes to stitches, just have fun. Don't get too worked up over it's not right. It's right for whatever you're doing. And I'm not here to preach to anybody how to do their work. I just want you to enjoy your stitching time and learn from each other. So my weekend went well. Saturday we had to go and move 3 tons of sand from the house out the front yard because they're getting re-tick done. See, that's good enough for me. And what I'll do is, oh, that was good. I didn't actually go through the lining. I will put my hand through the lining. This is why it's good to leave the lining open, just for exactly for this. And then I will stitch down into the lining. There we are. Oh, got caught up in our poor little flowers, about ready to cark it. And then rethread my thread and just do a few little overcast stitches on the actual zipper that you can see there. And I did actually cut the wadding, the blanket back a little bit from the zipper so it wasn't so bulky. Right, one more will do. Oh, it's very stiff, and that was very good where my pliers came in. That helped immensely. So if you need to pull a really thick crew needle with, you know, thick yarn or something like that, definitely get yourself some pliers because it saves your hands. So that's good enough. Now I've just got to try and fix up I don't think I did it very well. And you know what's happened? It's moved down when I've sewn this on. It's pulled my rickrack down. That's what it's done. So what did we do? Tuck that under there. And that's going. I'm going to sew that back on again, and I'm just going to. I don't know if I've got any thread. Do you know what? I actually have this thread here to close up the bag. So let's just do that. So I'm going to come inside into the bag. You're not going to see it. You're not going to see it. So I'm going to come up here. Use my other hand to go inside the bag. Oh, what's happened to my... There it is. Sorry if I was rushing a bit. I was just excited. I haven't been here for days. I get like withdrawal symptoms. I don't know about you, but I love people. But if I see too many people all at once, I find it's just a bit overwhelming. So I'm going to what I'm going to do is to secure this down properly. I'm just going to go out, up and down a bit more, which I didn't do before. That would be the problem of why the rickrack wasn't staying, and I might just leave that as a fluffy bit of rickrack. I don't want to have to go and repair this later on when and that's supposed to go in there like that too. Maybe I'll just, sometimes I don't know. I will just do a bit of stitching down the edge there to close that off. It's either got a knot in the thread or it's just too long, my cotton, and there is definitely a knot in my thread. So let's fix that up first. It's all my fault for not shortening the thread. There we go. Right, let's just cut the thread. I'm not going to use that much. And when things don't go quite to plan, you know that you can create something different for that area. Right, let's turn around here and get this going. Don't get caught up in the bush. I will secure that down more, but what happened was I think when I did it, I dragged that down and it created the rick-rack not to sit very well. And I don't think I put enough stitches in. I should be using the aqua colour, but it's only for me, so, and you're not going to see it because the lovely big flower's going to be there. I just wish sometimes the thread would just stay and do as it's told. It's really annoying. Especially when it's fine thread, sometimes you just can't feel it in your fingers. Right, that's done a much better job. As you can see now, oh, there we go again. I think the thread's too fine. The rick-rack is, you can't see the stitches in the rick-rack. Right, can we just stay on the needle? Please. Right, I need to do this. I need to fix up this. Maybe if I could use this thread and go up here. Oh, get caught around my flower. Oh, sometimes my knuckle gives me grief and doesn't want to bend. What I can do is try and lift that over there. I'm just getting a bit muddled up. I'm trying to get the, I don't know if this is going to work. Excuse me. Just trying to lift this cotton over the green. Oh, a tickle in my throat. Because when you're trying to do that, you're trying to figure out where the needle is. If it keeps going, I'll have to stop the video. Right, so this has worked well. You're not going to see it, but as long as the fabric gets anchored down, it'll do me fine. As long as it doesn't get caught up in my thing. Maybe just one more stitch just there. I can come back in later and fix it up. Right, let's try and close that off. Just seeing where I was on the video. Sometimes I'm not sure if I just wanted to make sure I was recording. I've only done that once. Gosh, that was quite annoying, not being able to, I'm just going to chop that off. It's not going to come undone. I was recording, and then I had to go back and I couldn't remember what I said, and then I realised I said some things and I didn't say some other things. Now I'll just reach over here. Sorry, I need to get my thread. I love how some people can thread their cotton very fast. It never works with me. I'm just going to close up the hole, the bottom of the lining, because I think I'm finished with the bag. And even if I found something, I can still sew because I haven't sewed this down. So all you've got to do is just pull that across, crease it with your fingers, and then some people do a ladder stitch, but honestly, I don't. I find that not a very, well, it's a good way of stitching, but I just want to get it closed. So I'll just go like this. And I do it small enough so it closes up. If I was on my sewing machine, if this was all done by machine, then I would have done it with machine, but I'm trying to show you how to do it all by hand. And I hope I've explained the zipper in detail. If if you don't understand how to do the zipper, I can probably just do a video just on the zipper itself. If I don't like this, I will, if I think it's not close enough, I will just go back off. Go back and do another row of stitching, which is probably what I'll do, just to secure it, because like I said, I wanted it to be a handmade bag. And now I'll just try and fill in the gaps of where my stitches aren't. I'm glad this is not a competition of the best stitching, because I would definitely not win, but I like the roughness of it. Yep, that looks good. A little bit more to go, and then that will be the end of this green bag series. And I will do one more. We'll do June, and it will be purple, like I said in my other video. So I will get that organised and get that happening in the next couple of weeks. So just give me some time. I have to go back to work now that everything's settled down. With me coming back from England, I had some issues after I came back as well, so I had to sort all that out. So hopefully I've got work on Monday week, so work now will be sort of getting in the way of me trying to do lots of different type of videos, but I will be coming on. If you haven't seen any of my other videos, go back and watch them. I just did a video the other day on how to make something with a teapot, and I made a pin cushion, and then you can put all your items in there, or you can put all your threads in there. You can use this as a little project teapot. You can put all your threads and your pins and your needles in here, and you can just carry your teapot. If you don't want to use it as a pin teapot, you can use it as a yarn teapot. You put your yarn in there, put the thread out here, and it becomes your yarn holder as well. So I have a video on that. All right, let's chop this off and put this inside. Usually I like to stitch the corners down, but I'm not going to this time. Flatten it out. And there's my bag. All done, ready to go. And I have a tiny little needle book I made. I just cut the heart out, and then I cut cut the heart out, and then I put a piece of fabric behind it, turned it so it was on point, and then I blanket stitched. I did have cardboard, but then I had 2 pieces of wadding. Next time I'll do 1 piece of wadding and just the fabric, and then I just put a tiny little bit of fabric, some green blanket, and trying to do some green pins there. And that's my little baby needle book and a love heart, because it was when my heart goes, I can't remember now. I've forgotten it. It's about hearts. So that's what I've got to do also, is get my typewriter, and I've got to do a little bit of typing in there to do the words my heart goes on. I can't remember. I said it in the other video, but I've been so busy. I'll have to go back and have a look. Oh, well, actually, I attach it to the description below as what it will be. Oh, I forgot to do that. And I'll go and do that as well. I just need to turn that over slightly. I'll pull that out, or I'll just overcast. I'll just overcast that stitch, and I must finish that, and then the bag is finished. So I want to thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe to my video, and I will link some YouTube channels that I like to watch, and if you haven't seen them, by all means go along and have a look at their videos and see what they're doing. So thank you very much for watching. Oh, and I forgot to say, this pouch is flying away, and this is going to my beautiful friend Michelle, who we've become friends with from Kate in the Nest, and I'm seeing her tomorrow. But when you see this, she'll have already got the bag. So thanks for watching.